Hello and welcome to the program. Our today's topic is creativity and its nourishment. And the objectives set for the topic are to know about the concept and meaning of creativity, to get acquainted with creativity and its difference from intelligence, to go through the definitions of creativity, to have a look over the importance of creativity, to get acquainted with the importance of creativity in our daily life, to go through the process of nourishing creativity, to know about the different strategies or techniques for fostering creativity. Human being is exceptionally blessed with the high-level thinking abilities of creativity. Such activities require use of already stored information along with the information concurrently received from the environment. The most advanced thought process, creativity, involves production of uncommon and novel ideas that are highly relevant to the situation. Creativity is defined as something different from intelligence as parallel construct to intelligence, but it differs from intelligence in that it is not restricted to cognitive or intellectual functioning or behavior. Instead, it is concerned with a complex mix of motivational conditions, personality factors, environmental conditions, chance factors, and even products. Most psychological researchers generally agree that all persons have some creative potential, though there are wide individual differences in degrees. Lowenfeld in 1959 distinguished between actual creativity and potential creativity, the former being that potential which is already developed and functioning, the latter including the total creative potential, both developed and undeveloped within an individual. Now, meaning and concept of creativity. Creativity is a goal-directed thinking which is unusual, novel, and useful. Many of such creative thinking become so important that they influence the whole human civilization and are called as historical creativity. The Mona Lisa, the laws of thermodynamics, the laws of motion, the theory of relativity are some of the ideas that were never thought before and change the human civilization altogether in a great way in their respective spheres of life. Although we can accept its existence and importance, it has been a highly difficult task for the researchers to define creativity. There are many definitions of creativity. A number of them suggest that creativity is the generation of imaginative new ideas involving a radical newness, innovation, or solution to a problem, and a radical reformulation of problems. Other definitions propose that a creative solution can simply integrate existing knowledge in a different way. A third set of definitions propose that a creative solution, either new or recombined, must have value. A novel idea is not a creative idea unless it is valuable or it implies positive evaluation. Barron in 1969 defined creativity as an activity which brings something new by assimilating existing principles or things. Sternberg and Lubart in 1999 defined creativity as the ability to produce work that is both novel, that is original, unexpected, and appropriate, that is useful, concern, task constraints. Runco in 2007 categorized these definitions of creativity as involving the creation of something new and useful and calls them as product definitions of creativity. However, he thought that creative thinking did not essentially require tangible creative products. Rather, the process should be more focused in defining creativity. According to Borden in 1998, there are three main types of creativity involving different ways of generating the novel ideas. First, the combinational creativity that involves new combinations of familiar ideas. B. The exploratory creativity that involves the generation of new ideas by the exploration of structured concepts. Third, the transformational creativity that involves the transformation of some dimensions of the structure so that new structures can be generated. Creative thinking is a disciplined manner can play a real role in innovation. According to European Commission 1998, creativity and innovation are normally complementary activities, since creative generates the basis of innovation, which in its development raises difficulties that must be solved once again with creativity. It is not possible to conceive innovation without creative ideas, as these are the starting point. Now, let us discuss the nature of creativity. Creativity is not an innate quality of only a few selected people. Creativity is present in everyone. It can be learned, practiced, and developed by the use of proven techniques, which enhancing the stimulating the creative abilities, ideas, and creative results. Help people to move out of their normal problem solving mode, to enable them to consider a wide range of alternatives and to improve productivity and quality of work. Creativity is thus constructed as a learned ability that enables us to define new relationships between concepts or events, which seemed apparently unconnected before, and which results in a new entity of knowledge. Knowledge and information are the basis of creativity. The nature of creativity can be discussed as: first, creativity is not confined to any individual. Creativity is not confined to any individual, group, or individual's caste, color, or creed. It is not bound by the barriers of age, location, or culture. Second, creativity is innate as well as acquired. Although many research findings and incidents favor the suggestion that creativity is a God-given gift and natural endowment, the influence of cultural background, experiences, education, and training in the nurturing of creativity cannot be ruled out. Thus, one's creativity may be correctly said to be a function of natural endowment as well as its nurturing. It is a combination of responses or ideas in novel ways. Third, creativity is adventurous and open thinking. Creativity is not a product of stereotyped, rigid, and closed thinking. It encourages and demands complete freedom to accept and express the multiplicity of responses, choices, and ways of action. Fourth, creativity carries ego involvement. There is complete involvement of one's ego in the creative expression. One's individuality and identity are totally merged in one's creation. Here, I is given more weightage. Fifth, creativity has a wide scope. Creative expression is not restricted by any limits or boundaries. It covers all fields and activities of human life, in any of which one is able to demonstrate creativity by expressing or producing a new idea or object. Now, let's have a look over the importance of creativity. The scientific and technological advancement of today is a long journey from Stone Age to the Space Age. There is tremendous expansion of social and political institutions, the development of industries, and the discovery of atomic energy opened up many possibilities for further advancement in space, research, and gigantic communication media network. There is flood of information available to the explosion of knowledge on all fronts. There are computers and calculating machines accelerating the welfare and betterment of human life. Toynbee in 1962 considers human creativity as man's greatest asset. Getzels and Jackson in 1962 regard creativity as one of the most highly valued qualities. Heffel in 1962 says creative activity at the highest level is the greatest of all human ecstasies and often brings moments of high personal drama. In today's world, creativity is fundamentally important for our personal, social, economic, and cultural well-being. The most important developments in civilization have come about through the creative process. This world was built by practical people who knew how to get into an imaginative frame of mind, listen to their imagination, and build on any idea they found there. Thus, creativity is important for the individual, for society, and for the economy. For the individual, creativity is a central part of what it is to be human. Unless we help young people to develop their innate desire to be creative and their innate capacity to create, we fail to educate them as whole and complete individuals. Creativity is central to the way society functions. In an obvious way, through the arts, science, technology, and myriad other manifestations, it enlivens our cultural, social, and working relationships. But it also plays an important role in human interactions. Trowbridge in 1966 comments, "The creative person can contribute something to society which the intelligent person cannot. Similarly, the intelligent person makes contributions which the one cannot." Also, the achievement of creatively superior individual does not equal the sum of achievement of any number or less creative people. The definition of the creative persons as persons who do relative ease what no one else has done at all, it's appropriate here. Thus, creativity can benefit us in many ways. Few of them can be discussed as: first, creativity can help us to find new ways to work and find easier ways to do everyday chores. A creative and liberal mind will allow us to look at objects, motions, and tasks in ways you may have never seen before. We can use creativity and some ingenuity to refurbish everyday objects to new uses, known as life hacks, and can rethink everyday course in new ways. Second, creative thinking can also allow us to look at situations and topics in different ways. When we open our mind up to creative thinking, we also open it up to new possibilities. Allowing ourselves to have an open mind will give us the clarity to properly judge a situation. With creativity, we can also find ways to solve everyday problems in the fairest and most efficient way. Creative thinking also gives us the ability to present and interpret topics and information in fun or interesting way. Third, creativity will ultimately free our mind to fly wherever it pleases. It opens our eyes to new possibilities and make us think of new ways to do everyday things. We can use creativity as a tool that can make work fun, life easier, save us from boredom, and even make us feel more fulfilled. Creativity challenges our mind, enhances our brain, and gives us the ability to think outside of the box. Now, let us discuss the nourishment and development of creativity. E.P. Torrance has said that creative talent should be carefully nurtured, otherwise, delicate plant will wither and die. Creativity is a multidimensional process of interaction between organism and its environment, which results in the emergence of a new and unique product. Now let us discuss the areas of creativity one by one. First, creativity and environment. Thurston was convinced that creativity can be encouraged or discouraged through environmental conditions. Kobe in 1965 also indicates that creative behavior can be developed by the environment being controlled in appropriate way. Second, creativity and classroom. For stimulating the talented children to exhibit their talent, William in 1976 emphasized that the scope of battle is essentially the classroom. It is critical locus for a student's interpersonal and educational development. Each classroom has its own distinct atmosphere and climate, which may help or mitigate this development. This climate mostly depends upon the classroom practice and conditions created thereby. Connor in 1960 found that the conditions within the class are largely responsible for the classroom climate. The classroom with good climate have more warm and friendly interaction, better teacher-pupil rapport, more opportunities for self-expression, relaxed, confined students, more interest and enjoyment of students. Third one is creativity and home. It is often observed that parents, especially educated ones, come in the way of creativity because they value academic knowledge than anything else. As long as their children exhibit creativity in academic subjects, there is no problem. But if the children have creativity in arts and crafts and spend most time in such activities, parents consider that as a waste of time. Therefore, they interfere in the activity and constantly try to push them towards academics. Hence, in order to nurture the creativity in children, first parents should know the importance it is for the child. Then only they will promote creativity in their wards. Secondly, parents must be able to create tension-free haven for the child. Affection, recognition and encouragement from parents enable child to realize his creative talent fully. Creativity and society. Society must value and respect creativity in any form and in any field. It must provide a higher place for creativity in human values. Public opinion indirectly motivates parents and schools to encourage creativity. Enlightened school, enlightened parents make enlightened society. Creativity in a particular field cannot be created. Creativity exists in the child. It can only be nurtured. In nurturing creativity, home, school and society should play each one's role. School must provide all opportunities for spotting the area of creativity in children. Parents must encourage their wards in their field of creativity. Next is self-motivation. It is widely accepted that an important part of creativity is based on intrinsic motivation, the desire to carry out something for its own sake. People who are being creative often work long and hard, not necessarily because someone else has asked them to, or because of the hope of some kind of external reward, but because of a deep interest, love even, for what they are doing and a deep desire to create. Teachers need to bear this in mind in working with young people. Next is the disposition to be creative. We can help develop a personal disposition to be creative. This relates to what Robert Fisher, in teaching children to think, call the experimental self rather than the safeguard self. People who are able to work creatively can also be thought of as having relatively few inhibitions to thinking outside the box. They don't have what Roger Vaughan Each in his book A Whack on the Side of the Head describes as the mental locks on creativity. Finally, creative thinking. We can help young people to develop their capacity for creative thinking. This means not only growing their natural talent for divergent exploratory thinking, but helping them balance this and use it alongside convergent and analytical thinking. Now, let's have a look over the techniques and strategies for fostering creativity. There are numerous creativity supporting techniques. Some of them are: first, brainstorming. Probably the best known idea getting technique is brainstorming. Brainstorming was invented by Osborne in 1953. The classic rules for the activity, which can be done as an individual or as a group, are: first, all ideas are valid, they are accepted and recorded. Second, judgment or criticism of any idea at the generation stage is not allowed. Third, everyone should feel free to voice any idea. Even wild ideas are valid. No pressure should be placed on anyone to voice ideas. Piggybacking on the ideas of others is allowed, even encouraged. The more ideas, the better. No time limit should be placed on the session. It ends when the ideas are run out. It is important that once the ideas have been generated, there is an opportunity to refine and develop them. There are a lot of variations of brainstorming in terms of both methods and strategies. Second, visual organizers. Visual organizers have become very popular since Tony Buzan coined the term mind maps for one form of visual organizer. It begins with a central focal point, a problem, an object, a name or issue, written in the center of a piece of paper with a circle around it. Each major facet of the problem or the solution to the problem originating from the central idea is done brainstorming in order to generate new ideas. Each of those ideas are then written on lines, drawn outwards from the circle. The next step is to brainstorm those ideas in order to identify issues related to the problem or solutions that are written on smaller lines that are drawn on the prime lines forming a branch. Third, active group work. Working in groups can increase the potential for creative solutions to problem-solving activities. However, creative thinking is often best done in private through quiet contemplation. So, it is also important to give young people the space, permission, and skills they need to develop slower, more contemplative ways of thinking. Fourth is storyboarding. It is a creativity technique for strategic and scenario planning based on brainstorming and used mainly by groups. It requires a leader, a secretary, and takes place in a group of 8 to 12 people. The leader arranges the ideas generated by brainstorming in a logical order on a whiteboard, creating a story. This technique allows identify the interconnections of ideas and how all the pieces fit together. It can be used to identify issues, problems, solve a complex problem, and determine ways to implement solution. Next is morphological analysis. This method is another product improvement technique, permitting the in-depth analysis of products or processes. It involves applying a set of words to an item, another set of words. Normally, one set of words is verbs and the other set of attributes of the product. Another way is that one set of words would be components of the product, breaking the product down into its parts, and the other set of words would be alternative solution. The method is to combine each word of one set with each word of the other set. These two sets of words result in a two-dimensional matrix. A three-dimensional matrix can be created by adding a third list of factors. Now, dear students, let us conclude. The paradigm of education is undergoing a great change. The educator's role in global dynamics, new societal perspective, the students as co-learners, parents as stakeholders show a connectivity in the creativity psyche that lies at the core of learning for thinking schools, creative learning nations. Creativity can and should be a part of daily life of all children and adults. Creativity can be both caught and taught in the right environment and with the right kind of help. We are all born with a huge potential for learning and creativity, and alarming amount of which goes untapped. Motivation rather than talent is the crucial element in creativity, and the home environment can either crush or spark a child's urge to be creative. The teacher's role is very crucial in molding the personality, thus shaping the career of the student. If ready to spend little more fruitful time with the child, any teacher educator can become a very good inspiration to child. Thus, creativity involves the affective domain of the person, which deals with the sensitive organ like heart. This was all about the topic. Hope you have understood. Thank you.